Well, Ann Coulter, of course, best-selling author, a lot of number one bestsellers. Her latest book, Resistance is Futile, is the best book on this current temper tantrum that's going on in America. You should get that. And also you can get her new column. Go to AnnCoulter.com and follow Ann Coulter on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
That's a beautiful description, the current temper tantrum.
Yes, the biggest temper tantrum in history.
Yes, that's really what it is. And it's certainly not helping the Democrats, and it's not helping America either. Though, wow, these debates. You know what the Democrats are doing? Sorry, I just assume you're going to ask me about the debates. And wait, what was you had a brilliant tweet last night.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, you had many. But one was when Marianne Williamson, Dark Psychic Forces, Marianne Williamson, said, this country needs to have a conversation about race. You just said, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I was going to watch Netflix, but let's do that instead.
One of my most political friends, I went to a debate watching party last night. I get home, talked to him, see what he thought of it. He said, yeah, I started to watch it. It was really boring, and Shawshank Redemption was on.
Yeah, that's funny. For me, it was 2.5 Men. I had to switch over to that.
Okay, this is the mistake the Democrats are making. For one thing, and by the way, I was watching with all Democrats last night, including a prominent and successful Democratic consultant. And we were surprisingly in agreement. They're not insane people. I mean, they're liberal. We disagree on everything, and they liked pretty much the same candidates I did. Delaney, who surprisingly is doing well in the polls, so there are still some sane Democrats. That's the Baltimore guy. He has a few nutty ideas. It's kind of weird that he came out for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That's one of these disastrous job-killing trade deals that is so hated by the public, at least when they find out what it is, that even Hillary had to run away from it, though she, of course, secretly supported it for big corporate friends. That guy, the Representative Ryan, whom I felt sort of guilty about this, but the tweet already had a lot of retweets. I can never remember that guy's name. And he does look like he's retarded. So I was just identifying him as the retarded congressman. You know how terrified he looks all the time? It's like, oh my gosh, are you asking me a question? No. But his answers were actually some of the best answers if you can get over how terrified he looks up there. I mean, one of the things he did, he had to. I've only been awake for a few minutes, but I did notice. Me too. But I did notice that his campaign had to put out a statement saying he was not protesting when he didn't put his hand over his heart for the national anthem. It was just a moment of absent-mindedness. So, okay, that's what I mean. Other than appearing to be very dumb, he actually had sane answers, and there was one other one. Oh, yeah, the Montana governor. Again, totally liberal, pedal to the metal on global warming and a million other things. But he wasn't nuts. He's an attractive-looking person. Then you turn to MSNBC and CNN after the debates, and they're pushing all the wacko candidates with just, pie in the sky. Everybody gets everything free, and don't worry, the billionaires will pay for it. And this statement that Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren made, that was supposed to be, and Pete Buttigieg, the mayor, he made a few statements like this to Ann Williamson. This, I don't even know why you're running for president if you're just going to say what we can't do. It reminds me of when the Republican Party was overtaken with this sort of passion, probably for similar reasons. They felt beaten down, but you can't just grab on to anyone who's shouting the loudest and seems to express your gives you emotional satisfaction. Remember that period when the Tea Party candidates were primarying Republicans and we lost Senate seat after Senate seat after Senate seat? I mean, we got Obamacare because of I say Tea Party, and the actual Tea Partiers out in America, they're lovely people. They wanted to stop Obamacare from wrecking their health insurance. They were nice, normal Americans. But candidates and consultants jump in and. There was Christine O'Donnell in Delaware.
Oh, yeah.
He lost a Senate seat. There was that guy Murdoch. I forget his first name in something. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, you're right. There were these two.
Indiana, and he was the one. Well, first we had Todd Aiken on the. We're going to have a breastfeeding statement on abortion. Todd Aiken says, uses the word rape in the same sentence as legitimate. For legitimate rapes, the woman doesn't get pregnant. Which, I mean, there was even some small edge of biological truth to that. But you don't say that when you're running for office. What's the matter with? Yes, we're against abortion except in the cases of rape and incest. What's the matter with that? Please, Republican candidates. So, of course, Aiken gets wiped out. Then Richard Murdoch comes along. I think it was Indiana, but I could have the state wrong. It's a state like Indiana or near there. And he says, when a woman gets pregnant as a result of rape, it's a gift from God. You're running for office, but I was arguing with all these Republicans and going on TV. Mitch McConnell, and I hate Mitch McConnell. He was getting primaried. There was just this passion that takes over where you're like doing the show-offy thing rather than the thing that will allow you to win an election. And that seems to be the fever that has seized the Democratic Party right now. So I suppose I shouldn't be pointing it out. We should just both keep our mouths shut and let it happen.
Very good point. So what do you think happens with Biden tonight? He says he's going to fight hard tonight, but that sounds like Jeb Bush trying to battle Donald Trump.
He's a lot more charming than Jeb Bush. Well, given the fever that's overtaken the Democratic Party, I think my prediction of Kamala 2 years ago is still looking good, though I do think Biden would be the strongest candidate. By the way, all the Democrats last night agreed with that. And like I say, these are Democrats who know what they're doing, have run and won campaigns. So I think they're going to be a little more depressed than we should be, because it looks like the Democrats will go, at least the party elder types, the MSNBC and CNN, the media that leads their party. They want the AOC candidates this year.
Well, if you're talking about these fever candidates, Joe Biden at some point could say, look, I'm the only candidate on this stage who has an actual fever.
It'll probably be, I wonder if it'll be a little more spirited. One thing that everyone was complaining about was how short the answers were. The CNN moderators, they seem to be constantly interrupting, like right as the candidate is getting to his, the crucial. There was one hilarious moment with Elizabeth Warren telling one of the little anecdotes, and these anecdotes have got to stop, but put a pin in that. She's right at the crucial moment where the kid is about to die, and Tapper says, "I'm sorry, your time is up."
The Lincoln Douglas debates were like everybody had an hour for each answer, and the whole thing was 12 hours. But you can't do that in 2019 in the Twitter age.
I guess that's right. The candidates could save a lot of time if there were a trap door and they fell through it every time they brought up an anecdote about. Remember, wasn't it Phil Graham from Texas who pioneered that with Dickie Flat? Remember Dickie Flat? It was about how you justify, as I recall, Phil Graham, Republican from Texas, running for president, utterly implausible candidate. No one could understand what he was saying. He had such a thick accent, but he was explaining why he wouldn't vote for this or that program, and he said he always thinks back to Dickie Flat, who I don't remember the story, ran a hardware store, and is it worth increasing his taxes to pay for, who knows? Yeah,
but if they told real anecdotes, when I was in Denver, I met a man named Jim, and Jim had a big donor check from me. Jim bundled up $500,000, so...
Yes, that's exactly right.
Well, I hate to say we're out of time, but we'll be watching tonight. Everybody get Ann Coulter's latest book, #1 bestseller, Resistance is Futile, the best book on this whole temper tantrum that's going on. And get her column. The new column comes out tonight. And you just go to AnnCoulter.com. Make sure you follow Ann Coulter on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
All right, take care.